Sorry, I had to clear my throat there because we are getting started once again. So today is Wednesday. Back to our Wednesday schedule. Been a couple Tuesdays lately, but we're back to Wednesday. Um, February 11th, 2026. And the first time, so I've been doing these streams weekly for maybe like 15 months or so now, and I have not built an elf deck. Uh, that's for some reasons, I assume. I, for those of you who don't know and aren't familiar with the lore, I cut my teeth on elves in this format a couple years ago. Um, Really, there hasn't been a lot of exploration, I think, in elves as a creature type. A lot of like good exploration. There haven't been like a ton of great commanders or ones that people have really been willing to explore. So I built a heritage druid list about maybe 4 years ago now. That's been kind of my flagship PDH deck. Um, I think it's pretty defining as far as elves as an archetype, but it's very, very specific and very different than what a lot of elves decks are doing. Since that time, we've gotten a lot of elves commanders, um, and I want to revisit it, especially in black green. So Lorwyn Eclipse has given us this great card, Morcant's Loyalist, a really great baseline elf commander. What I mean by that is that it's not very specific. It just wants you to play a lot of elves. Doesn't ask too much of you, right? And it's a lord, which is a big part of it too. There are lords that exist at uncommon already. Imperious Perfect is mono green. From the last Lorwyn cycle, it's a 2/2, gives all your elves +1/+1. You can tap it to make elf tokens. Um, and in black green, you've had in the past like King Harold of Skemfar, whatever, from Kaldheim. It's a 3/2 with menace. For 3 enters, you just look at the top 5 for an elf or a warrior. Put it in your hand. Even in this set, or Shaman of the Pack, I think has been the most represented Golgari elf commander so far. 3 mana, 3/2 enters. Target player loses life equal number of elves you control. Um, Even in this set, we got the Eclipsed Elf or whatever it's called, the 3 hybrid mana elf creature ETB. Look at the top 4, I think you get an elf, a swamp, or a forest. But this thing just is an elf commander. It's really great. It just lets you play your elves and do whatever you want with them. It's not as specific as something like Heritage Druid, which requires you to build your deck in certain ways. Um, Granted, like that's how I like to build decks, but so be it. Morcant's Loyalist is great, though. I'm a big fan of this card. I think that it's a really great entry point for people who just want to play elves in PDH. It gives you 2 colors, 2 great colors. It gives you combat bonuses. It gives you utility on the back end. It just provides a lot. So, green, black, 1, 3/2 elf warrior. Other elves you control get +1/+1. When it dies, you get to raise that an elf, which is good. Gravedigger effects, I'm a huge fan of in this format. And black lets you lean into it with things like, you know, Village Rites effects or Bone Splinters or other sacrifice cards that lets you do things for value. So you can kind of like recycle this thing and get some good stuff going with your graveyard. Um, so let's start here. So elves at common is probably one of like the most, I think, specifically represented creature types. More so than goblins, even I think, in terms of like the how powerful these cards can be. To just give you an idea, first of all, let's get some swamps and this will be like a 35er. So we'll do like 20 forest and 15 swamp. We'll probably adjust that because we're definitely going to want to be represented forests a lot more than swamps. That's just the way these things tend to go. And one of the reasons why I tend to shy away from Golgari elf decks is because the green mana requirements tend to be so heavy that having a significant portion of your mana base allocated for black mana because you need to be able to get your commander cuts into your ability to like do stuff on a specific timetable. That's what I've found anyway. But so we're going to do 2015 split. We'll probably end up adding more force as we go. But ignore the ruckus. Taylor just got home and all the dogs are running loose. Let's just cards that have the text elf in them. That's usually like with kindred decks. in PDH. It's usually like where I like to start. There's like some generically good, creature type specific effects, things that care about creature types, but searching for things that care about elves specifically is where I'd like to start here. Same could be true if you're doing goblins, wizards, merfolk, zombies, whatever. So you'll notice that there are a lot of them, and the ones that we have are incredibly powerful. So the only non-creature, I guess, in black we have access to other things, but like this is a good example. Is Elvish Guidance, right? Like it's 3 mana aura. When you tap it for mana, you get a green for each elf on the battlefield. In Onslaught and Lore, or in Onslaught block, when this stuff was initially printed, it cared about total number of elves on the battlefield. Even like Piece of Titania, going back to Urza's Saga, cared about total number of elves on the battlefield. Very powerful because all the things are just incidentally elves. You get to pick blood equity that way. Elvish Guidance just lets you pull so far ahead on mana. This is like an auto include. Elvish Guidance. A lot of these things are just like no-brainers. Elvish Guidance. Elvish Vanguard is another one. I'll talk about these cards a little bit individually. Just a 2 mana 1/1. Whenever an elf enters the battlefield, it gets bigger. This thing gets huge really quick. It's a very good threat. Being able to like rebuy it if it dies is really good. This thing just gets enormous. Let's see. We'll play Eyeblight Massacre because we're in black. This is one of the benefits of playing a Golgari Elf deck is you get this sweeper. 4 mana gives all non-elves -2/-2. Obviously very powerful, like Breath Weapon, like that templating of dealing 2 damage to every creature or giving every creature -2/-2 is really good, and if it's one-sided, it's even better. So Arms of Hadar shows up somewhere in some places in this format. It gives creatures target player controls -2/-2, so it's targeted. But being able to do it when it doesn't hit you is obviously preferable. So like Eyeblight Massacre, Lissalana Bowmaster is a little more narrow, but like to give you an idea of how powerful this card is, whenever you cast an elf, it deals 2 damage to a flyer. You just get to gun down all the flyers for free, basically. So we'll skip that one for now. It's not necessary, or as necessary as like the other ones. Lissalana Huntmaster is one of the best ones you can have. 4 mana 3/3. Whenever you cast an elf, you make a token. So you cast your elves, you make more elves. In Heritage Druid, this card goes off. In any elf deck, it goes off, but it's very good. Priest of Titania, again, just lets you go apeshit on mana. Adds a green for each up on the battlefield. Floor on this card adds a green. 2 mana 1/1 adds a green mana, which is like whatever, who cares? It's fine because she herself is an elf. But if you have at least, if there's one other elf on the battlefield, like this card is very good. Like even a 2 mana 1/1 that adds 2 mana and it stops there is like super playable. But this thing gets out of hand really quick. Safe Red Cavalry is pretty good. We'll get back to that one though. I'm just trying to get the sure things. But I like looking at all these cards. Well-Wisher, just a card designed from time gone by. You don't see cards like this anymore. Gain 1 life for your elf in play. You just gain a bajillion life. Wirewood Herald is a card that you would be happy to play in any elf deck. When it dies, you get to tutor up an elf card to your hand. In black-green decks, it is significantly better because you have access to ways to sacrifice it. In mono-green and PDH, there are almost no ways to sacrifice your own creatures. By outside sources, like obviously, like if a creature sacrifices itself for whatever mana cost, that stuff exists. But there's very few ways to sacrifice your own creatures that wouldn't otherwise be able to do so. So like with Wirewood Herald and mono green, you're oftentimes relegated to like if you're that kind of person, waiting until you draw your Ashnod's Altar, or attacking or blocking or doing stuff like that. Whereas in black-green, you have access to like Village Rites, right? You just sacrifice this, draw 2 cards, tutor up an elf. Any of these cards are absolutely great finds with Wirewood Herald. So that's one of the big benefits, I think, to adding the second color, is whereas it's a little less consistent and streamlined, as a mono green elf deck might be, you have access to a lot more utility and a lot more flexibility in what you're doing. I just find it a little bit of a like walking a fine line because of the density of elves that you need to really capitalize on all these things. Cuts into the amount of like, it really limits your non-creature spaces, in my opinion. So those are the big ones: Well-Wisher, Wirewood Herald, Priest of Titania, Lissalana Huntmaster, Elvish Vanguard, Elvish Guidance. Where's Timberwatch Elf? Oh, because it cares about elves, plural. right? Yeah, Timberwatch Elf. Here we go. Birchlow Rangers is another one. Tap 2 untapped elves to add a mana of any color. Another way to just go apeshit on mana. This is really, really great in the sense that like you can use your elves to generate black mana. This card is really, really good here. It's really good in any situation where you have elves, which is what this deck wants. Branch Bender is good, but I don't know if I'm going to play it. It's just doing something different. It just makes your lands into big things. I don't really care that much about that. It's the less cool thing to be doing. Timberwatch Elf is a very cool thing to be doing. Timberwatch Elf taps to give a creature +X, where X is the number of elves on the battlefield. So this is a way to kill somebody really, really quickly. If you have your commander, this, and one other thing, you tap this to give a creature +3/+3, which is a lot. Just adds a ton of power. And there's ways to untap your elves and do it again and again and again. So Wired Pride is another really great way to kill people. I don't know if this is the kind of thing that we want in a deck like this just yet. It's a pump spell that scales based on the amount of elves you have. It's part of kind of a suite of 4 cards that I usually put in my elf decks, just because it asks you to have such a density of creatures that they just very naturally become good. Wired Pride is 1, X+X, or X is the number of elves in play. Might of the Masses is +X+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. It's another 1 mana pump spell. Aspect of Hydra, which is 1 mana, give a creature +X+X, or X is your devotion to green. So it's usually like, equal number of creatures you control because they'll have at least 1 green pip. And then Chorus of Might, which is more expensive. It's a 4 mana spell. It gives a creature +X+X, or X is the number of creatures you control, and it gives trample. There's a 5th, King Harold's Revenge. It gives a creature, it's a sorcery, it's a 3 mana sorcery, first of all, which makes it a little less appealing. It has this text, +X+X, or X in the creatures you control, and it gives a thing trample, and it makes a thing must be blocked. So those cards are really, really great in any elf deck. All of them other than this one are great in any deck that has a ton of creatures. I will probably put it in later, but not right now. So like these cards are amazing. Like they are head and shoulders above like any other Kindred payoff at common for any creature type, maybe except for like Skirt Prospector. These cards are all just absurd. Not to mention, like, I play Massacre, which you don't even get to play half the time. Okay, so we're going to be playing a ton of elves. So the 3 big green draw spells, along with Village Rites and Corrupted Conviction. It's always nice to be able to draw some cards. Just Lead the Stampede. You meet in the tavern. Meet in a taven. Meet in a tavern. And then the other one is Winding Way. So in mono green, these cards are really great in Golgari elf decks. They are your only options in a mono green elf deck. But these are the only ways to really go up on cards in your hand. Like there's things that can't trip, right? You have your Elvish Visionaries. Cards that will like look at the top 4 and put a creature and a land into your hand or something like that. This thing just like draws you pure gas every time. Depending on, we'll probably end up with a lot of creatures, maybe like between 50 and 60. And Winding Way will draw us maybe 2-3 cards on average. For a 2 mana spell, it's really good. Lead the Stampede and You Meet in a Tavern are oftentimes 3s or 4 cards off each. You Meet in a Tavern has the flexibility of being a board anthem. Give all your creatures +2/+2, so it can win the game for you as well. Really great draw spells. We get the benefit of having black for these as well. Just really great ways to get cards. We probably won't need like a ton more of this stuff, but let's get into the good stuff here. Actually, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it in here. Let's look for some elf. We have a lot of options because we have black. There's some good ones. Let's start at low mana value. We're going to want the ramp stuff. Arbor Elf is really great in the sense that, it's a 1 mana dork. The floor on this card is 1 mana tap, add a green mana because you untap a forest. But with Elvish Guidance, it obviously scales up really big. Boreal Druid, even though this card adds colorless mana, we have a ton of green pips. It's still going to be good to add an extra mana. We'll play Sentinel Stalwart. When you have a certain density of early creatures, Sentinel Stalwart is easy to convert into mana. Same thing like Jasper, Sentinel, and like those sorts of cards that tap other things to add mana. We just want as many ways to add, like ramp us in as possible. Elves of Deep Shadow. The great thing here is that our commander also just gives these things +1/+1 should we desire to attack with them. They just become 2/2s. Let's just do this real quick. So like if we don't need to ramp, then we just have a bunch of 1-mana 2/2s, which is pretty decent. Let's play Elvish Mystic. Elves really thrive off of density, which is why you want your creature counts to be so high. It all just like interlocks very nicely. All of these creatures just scale based on how many elves you have. So do these cards. So it all just is very synergistic with each other. It's really, really good. We'll play Essence Warden, gain tons of life. Just, you got your Soul Sister at 1. I'm a little blurry on the camera, but that's okay, right? It's not a big deal. Fintorn Elves. This is a deck where we don't need to like go in super hard on the one mana elves. In my Heritage Druid list, it's built around like maxing out on 1-mana elves, so it's a little bit different. But here we can kind of just save some space. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is one of like my favorite cards. It's not as good here, I guess. Because what? It's a 1-mana 1/1 ETB Scry 1. The activated ability really never comes into play. Maybe we come back to this, but we're going to play Jasper Sentinel. And now you start to see why like we really want to lean way more into forests than swamps, which makes it tricky on our mana to cast our commander consistently. There's ways to hedge it, but obviously like we really want a much heavier forest count. A lot of the better cards are going to be forest. A lot of the things that we're going to put on turns 1 and 2 are forest, or our green cards that we need to have a forest. Llanowar Elves. There's 5 1-mana elves. I think I've talked about this before. Llanowar Elves, Arbor Elf, Boreal Druid, Elvish Mystic, and Fintorn Elves. Then there's these ones like Jasper Sentinel and Sentinel Stalwart that tap other things to add mana, but in terms of just like raw ramping ability, these ones are the ones you want. And there's 5 of them. Alright, Quirion Ranger sort of fits in that category, but not quite. There's a couple things about Quirion Ranger. So this untaps creatures, which is really good because we have a lot of abilities like Priest of Titania, Well-Wisher, Timberwatch Elf, even Mana Dorks. And we get to return a forest to our hand. So this is really great with low land count decks because we can use this as our land drop essentially to hit our land drops every turn. So if you play Quirion Ranger on turn 2, and then on turn 3 you miss a land drop, and you have a Mana Dork. So you've got 2 lands, Mana Dork, Quirion Ranger. You can tap both your lands, tap your Llanowar Elves, return a forest, untap Llanowar Elves, play a forest, tap your Llanowar Elves, tap your forest, you have 5 mana now. There's a lot of really great, interesting math and mental gymnastics that go into this card. It's really, really powerful, deceptively so, and it gets way better if you are using it to hit your lands. It just accelerates you super hard. I love this card. Let's see. Taunting Elf is a win condition. Just makes everything have to block it, so all your other creatures don't get blocked, which is great. There are a couple like good aggressive ones, like Tajuru, Bright Braid, Treetop Scout, Thornbow Archer, these sorts of cards. Thank you, Miles, for being a Derek's Loyalist. Appreciate that. We don't need to be like super aggro. Like we just naturally become aggressive on the board because we have so many elves. So let's see. None of these are that appealing. Like Attended Socialite is good-ish. Play Devoted Druid. The great thing is that like because we get to play so much ramp, we get to play a lot of like the good 5-mana elves, like 5-6 mana, like the big ones, which is cool. Dwynen's Elite is not as important in this deck as it is in others, but it adds a lot of power with our commander, right? It adds 5 power to the board, which is pretty good. We'll play Elvish Visionary. The ones that can't trip are always really great. Just helps you keep your card flow going. Heart Warden. Yeah. Don't need like a ton of the 2 mana. No, yeah, we'll play Heart Warden. Because this is, we don't need a ton of the 2 mana accelerants. Um, because I mean, we've got like, 8-ish cards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 1 mana elves that can add mana. Heart Warden is good because we can sacrifice to draw a card, and so we'll have something to rebuy with our commander when this dies. Okay. We'll play Lissalon Informant and Lothlorien Lookout. Lissalon Informant I kind of like. Just like the ETB, LTB, Surveil Trigger creatures are pretty good generally. Like they're all 3/1s, but the Visceral Stex is good. And on a relevant creature type is something that I think is marginally playable. Lothlorien Lookout is also one that is great. It's a repeatable source of scrying and card selection in mono green. Here, obviously, it lets us set up our draws for our bigger draw effects, stuff like this. It's better with like things like Carpet Eviction, Village Rites. But being able to scry every turn, and it's got 3 toughness, so like it's not unreasonable to have safe attacks with this some percent of the time. With a commander, it's a 2/4, so it's even better. Moltani's Acolyte is really good too, especially because we have our commander to rebuy it. It just naturally puts itself in the graveyard, So that's not the worst. Do we want like Queer Elves? Do we care that much? I kind of do, maybe? No, maybe we don't need it. There's better things. Okay, let's play Seeker of Skybrave. We're not going to play Sculptor of Winter because we're not going to play Snowlands. We don't need to. But we're going to play Sylvan Ranger. There are a handful of elves that'll get you lands. Sylvan Ranger's a great one. This card is... People like to... I actually wrote like an article about Sylvan Ranger on my mostly defunct WordPress website. But this card is much closer. People compare this card unfavorably to things like Wood Elves or Farhaven Elf, but in reality it's much closer to Elvish Visionary. It just draws you a forest, or draws you a swamp. There is a really great back and forth between like ramping and hitting your land drops, like tutoring up lands with like a Farhaven Elf and then naturally hitting your land drops. This helps you do both those things because you can't ramp if you're not hitting your land drops. You can't accelerate if you're just missing land drops. So this helps you do that. It's a great card. Another dies effect for Emissary. Another great card. When it dies, you get to tutor up a basic to the battlefield tapped. I'm a big fan of that one. Alright, those are our 2s. What do we have at 3? Things to get mana. So Civic Wayfinder. Just 3 mana gets you a land to your hand. It's really just about getting these things, just making sure that we're able to cast all of our spells consistently. Evolution Witness is a great one. A lot of like the good black elves are higher in mana value. You'll see when we get there. Like these ones are not great. Farhaven Elf. I don't really care about removal. We're just like going over the top. We're just playing so many creatures. Fierce Empath gets us a big guy. Not sure we'll have at the top end just yet, but it seems reasonable to include this card. Coma's Faithful, don't care. Moonglove Extractor is pretty decent. Oh, Landlord Visionary. A really great cantripping creature. It's just like an Elvish Visionary that you can tap for mana, basically. Really good card. Whenever it attacks, you draw a card, lose a life. Yeah, I'll play this card. It's like a bad... It's not as good as Lothlorien Lookout. Being able to give it +1/+1 so it doesn't trade with tokens is good, but just being able to have it replace itself and then get it back later is totally fine. I don't know if we're going to play Lothlorien or Nightblade, because we don't have like a ton of stuff that makes tokens. We're not like a very token-heavy strategy. So it just might not be something that's exciting. Springbloom Druid, something that helps us fix our lands. We could probably end up managing to go down on a lot of lands here. Viridian Joiner is interesting in this deck because it will become a 2/3. So it'll tap to add 2 mana. We probably don't need it though, especially since it's a 3 mana dork. Definitely gonna play Wood Elves though. Um, the great thing about Wood Elves, obviously, I feel like a broken. I say this all the time. This is why you play things like your typed duels, right? Like the forest, like the commons that have two creature or two land types, because you can get black sources with this. You can get your black green tap lands with Wood Elves. It's just once you get a forest, not a basic land necessarily. So that's really good. You have my Granger's another one. Another Echo creature that plays naturally with our graveyard stuff. ETB, search for land, put on the battlefield, and then you can just send it to the yard. So we got 37 creatures so far. We're not even at our 4s. There's a lot. There's a lot of good ones. What's this one? Mill 3 cards. If it's elf in your yard, you should put lose life. Not as interested in that. We'll play Exquisite Huntmaster. I like this card. Exquisite Huntmaster, like a decent sized body, right? A 4 mana 4/2. When it dies, you make a token and it has Encore. So it's not hard for this thing to find its way to the yard, and then at that point you get to cash it in. Whenever those tokens dies, you make more tokens, etc. So maybe Nightblade is going to be good. We'll take stock a little bit later. Ivy Lane Denizen is an elf. Just makes our creatures grow. Whenever you play a green creature, whenever a green creature enters, give a thing a counter. This card, again, like randomly an elf, super powerful. Super powerful. We'll play Jiraga Visionary. And we'll also play Llanowar Empath. Llanowar Empath I like a lot. When you are playing with such a high density of creatures, and we'll probably go lower on lands too, we don't need that many, but being able to select out the top of your library is really valuable. Obviously, like your draw steps matter a lot more when you have fewer lands, and you need certain densities of things, and you need certain stuff to make your deck work. Being able to scry 2 is pretty important. It's a good card. What's Raker Scoundrel? 4 mana, 3/3. This card sucks. We don't need a 4 mana land fetcher. We'll play Safe Right Cavalry. This is a good mana sink. The other thing about elves is you need mana sinks. There are some good ones. This is, I think, a decent one. For 5 mana, you can get something +2/2. Beggars can't be choosers. You know, we have what we have. We'll play Shaman of the Spring. You know what? I think we'll play the pump spells. Wirewood Pride, Might of the Masses, Chorus of Might. We're at 88 cards. We'll cut a bunch of lands. And then Aspect of Hydra. Even though we have some black cards, Aspect of Hydra is going to be pretty big anyway. Let's go down to 30 and see where that leaves us. So 15 more cards. What are we at right now? 43 creatures. Looking good. Wildheart Invoker, another great mana sink. 8 mana, give thing +5/+5 and trample. It's like a much better version of Safe Right Cavalry, but again, like just having a density of these things, being able to find them is important. And Wildheart, not Wildheart Cavalry, what am I talking about? Wildheart Invoker. Again, like something that is just happens to be an elf and also is just sick. Great card. Speaking of mana sinks, there's 2 non-elf cards. Beast Rider Vanguard and Vivian's Grizzly. These are 2 cards that have activated abilities that are similar to one another. They really just keep things moving. Really great in mono green. They don't get any worse when you add black to the mix. But 4 mana, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature, goes to your hand. Otherwise, it goes on the bottom. This hits a significant amount of time because you can see we have almost 50 creatures. Beast Rider Vanguard is similar. This is a newer one that in some ways is more powerful. 5 is not 4. This costs 5 to activate rather than 4, but you get to look at the top 3 cards, reveal it permanent, and put it into your hand, rest on the bottom. So like the ability is more powerful, but sometimes the math just works out that a 4 mana value activation is better than 5. But it's good to have both. Drakekeeper, we're not doing a squirrel thing. We are going to play... We're going to play Eyeblade Colors, that's for sure. Let me see. Yeah, getting kind of towards the end here. Okay, so we're going to play These two black ones, Briarblade and Oddblade colors. Just like beefy bodies, Encore is great. Oddblade colors, when it dies, you make a bunch of tokens. I don't know if we want to, yeah, might as well play Entourage of Trust and Nat's Elite. Nat's Elite is just like Taunting Elf, except it's bigger and costs more mana. This one, again, like, you just want redundancy sometimes, and having access to 2 cards with this ability is good. 5 mana 4/2, all creatures able to block it do so, and then you clash, and if you win, it gets a counter, so it becomes a 5/3 sometimes. But that's not obviously not the point of the card. Wildwood Escort is pretty good. Don't have allies. Yeah. Okay, we'll play Finclave Fugitives and Wildwood Escort. Okay, we're at 94 cards. Let's play, like, Deadly Dispute. Just like a 3rd Village Rites that gets us a treasure. Yeah, like the Black Elves that comment are not that impressive. That's just, you know, it is what it is. How many things do we have that make tokens? I could like lead into it, but I don't know if I really want to do that. This makes 1 token. Blah, 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 blah. This card's probably not going to do us anything. This makes a lot of tokens, but, you know, this makes a token. So Elfsworn Giant is interesting because I think these cards are at their best when you play as many of them as possible, which means playing as few lands as you can justify. It could be good. Let's try it. I mean, for 5 mana you get a 5/3, and if it makes like 2 tokens, it's probably good enough. Let's see, you got 30 lands, you could probably go even lower. 28. Got 52 creatures. Trying to think. If you want like more patently aggressive things. Junie says hi. I don't think we need any more here. Okay, so you kind of get the idea here as far as we got 50 elves in the deck. That seems good enough. So now, let's look. We have room for some spells and stuff. Let's look at things I want to sacrifice stuff. Sacrifice a creature, black, green, common. Like what can we pepper into our deck here? Do things like Annihilating Glare if we want removal. I don't think we really need to. Undercity Uprising. Oh yeah, we do have access to cool Golgari spells. I'll look at that stuff actually. Let's look at just like the black and green stuff. Any cool stuff here? Some cool stuff. So Undercity Uprising, I just don't like sorceries that much, honestly. It's cool though. Gives all your things Death Touch. Yeah, let's play that. I'm in. Whoops. I'm taking screenshots by accident here. Let's do that. That sounds cool. these things. Infuse the vitality is interesting. It's like right now, as it stands, we're like leaning a little bit more into the anthem effect here than the rebuying, because we don't have like a lot of ways to pitch our creatures into the yard. I mean, we have some, obviously, like 1, 2, 3. Sometimes this, we'll put something in the yard. I'm doing a lot of like self-milling. Maybe we could add in, there's like a self-mill elf, maybe we could play that. I don't think we need to though. Like, the great thing about elves is that it's just so straightforward. The second clause is just icing on the cake. The plus power and toughness is way more powerful. I kind of like infused vitality though. So like this is just like a what is the thing? Like you know, the thing where it dies then it comes back, but it gives your creature death touch. It's like kind of like it's a cool combat trick. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Oh, you know what we should play? Elvish Herder. Gives creatures trample. And when you have these cards, that's really good. Even if you have small things, like things will get big with Ugly Denizen. We've got like some 4 power, 5 power things, 4/4, stuff like that. Getting the trample is really powerful. So let's do that. Let's do that. So we got room for 4 more cards. 736. We got plenty of time to find them too. Be a Golgari Rotworm. Sacrifice a creature, lose life. Let's do sacrifice a creature. Oh, whoops. Okay, let's go back to this. I'm not gonna play Ashnod's Altar. Fuck that card. Don't want to play that. Like, what are some good things that we can do? Oh, yeah, the Crown of Vigor. Not that impressive. A board wipe +1/+1 is not the most compelling thing for me. Got like, I guess you can play like Elder Skysweeper instead of Lissalana Bowmaster. The one where we just cast elves and kill all the flyers. I like Skysweeper because you actually have to pay mana for it, and you have to actually do things like sacrifice your creatures, which seems good to me. Seems healthier, that's for sure. Don't need more of these sacrifice to draw cards things. I don't think. There's like a lot of cards that are good and only so much space. Yeah, Junie has a new squeaker toy. It's her favorite toy. We call him Ryan Cabrera, for those of you who are familiar with the recording artist Ryan Cabrera. It has spiky hair that looks just like him. So that's why we call him that. We've been calling those types of toys Ryan Cabreras for 10 years. Because that's what they are. Cool things to do. Cool things to do. Cool things to do. Yeah, not a ton. Notice how none of these cards are green. I mean, none of the things that sacrifice creatures are green. Which is cool. It's a cool beans. Don't want to play something. I don't really find any reason to play something like Aramon or like the creatures that sacrifice, pay 3 mana, sacrifice your creature, draw a card, and I don't really care about that stuff. Don't care. You could probably play it and be perfectly fine, but I just don't care. Maybe play a Viscera Seer. That's a good one. Just maybe cash in a 1 mana thing for free. Outlet, scry 1. I like that. And then we can do Gruesome Fate to burn somebody out. Each opponent loses life for each creature you control. That sounds pretty good. Let's look at that. Each creature you control. Things that scale on our creature count. Let's see. Yeah, we're definitely not playing removal because who needs it? That's what I always say. We're just gonna play all other things, and if it's good enough, great. If it's not, oh well. That's the correct way to play Magic, in my opinion. Guys might. Some fate. Yeah, here's King Harold's Revenge. Maybe we'll just play King Harold's Revenge and just go like full out on these effects. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, great. We got 100 cards. Let's try this, and if it's a failure, actually, oh, we need to do lands. We need to do lands. I opened a carriage jump off for some reason. Type land. What time is it? 7:40. Got plenty of time. We have so much time. We're not going to do much here. We'll probably, we'll play Ash Barrens because we're playing 2 colors and we need them fairly quickly. Not going to play much in the way of tapped lands because we want to get on board. Command Tower. And then we're going to play the 2 typed duels. And I think that's probably it, honestly. Maybe we'll play this one that sacrifices to draw a card. And then that's it. So we can fetch up these duels here. I don't think there's anything that's... Path of Ancestry. Forgot about that one. Obviously, playing a Kindred deck, so... That one is out of control good. What's the name of this stupid card? What's the name? Oh, great, it's the last one on the thing. Alright, and that puts us at 6 cards. We have 6 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4 enter tapped. Do 1, 2, actually we'll cut this. 3, 4, okay. Oh, 5, 6. Alright. We'll cut this and we'll add that. Alright, yeah, grip's pretty good. Okay. Let's deal a hand. We'll just dive in here. This is fine. Is it though? We need a forest for this. Let's try it. Why not? We'll ride the lightning a little bit. Turn 1. Alright, so we got our Boreal Druid. Okay. Not the worst. We have a thing to do. Oh, look at that. Look at this beautiful business right here. Now we can do 1, 2, 3. What else? Counter. Library will get our where is it? Woodland Chasm, why not? Enter stat. Oh no, yeah, it does enter stat. Okay. Now draw a visionary. So now we can do stuff. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll cast the Huntmaster. Alternatively, what I could do is, this might be better actually, is if we just get a regular basic forest. Put that on the battlefield, tap, cast Quirion Ranger. Because then what we can do, oops. Yeah, okay. This is actually like turn 4, but anyway, so now what we can do is we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and cast Huntmaster. Can I do anything for 2 mana? I guess it gets 2 more counters. No, okay. So now we can get this online. Timberwatch Elf. Counter here. We've got 1, 2, 3 mana left over. Oh, we got a token as well from this. somewhere here. We still got stuff to do. Alright, so now Creator Ranger is going to accelerate us, or keep us on par. So let's move this over here, move this over here. A couple things. So we can just do like 1, 2, and deadly dispute this. Draw 2, make a treasure. Tap 2, cast this, make a token. See, like, we don't even need to cast our commander right now. We just have so many things to do. We can cast it pretty soon and start, like, crashing in with, like, once we start making a bunch of tokens. But, like, this thing's just getting enormous. We have Oddbite Massacre should we need to, now that we can cast it with the treasure. Yeah, but you see, like, we have no need for black mana. Almost none. Alright, that has no lands. This is fine. Alright, draw for turn. We don't have any early plays, so we're just going to play our tap land first. We have this. Not doing anything for like the first 3 turns is pretty rough, but it's not a huge deal. We'll just get this out there. Actually, what we'll do is we'll add this, and we'll scry. We'll leave that one on top. Play Korean Ranger, and now we can 1, 2, 3. We have 5 mana available to us now. Yeah, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, bounce this, untap this, play this, 4, Huntmaster, Scry. Yeah, leave that one on top, why not? And now we can start casting more stuff. So what we can do is, so we get both these to get more cards. Some expensive creatures, but not the worst thing in the world. We can go black, green, green. Cast this, trigger here, make a token. Then we can go bounce forest, untap, play forest, 1, 2, 3, cast our commander, make another token. And now everything gets +1/+1. Can attack. Oh no, I just played with this turn. Attack for 4 even if we want to. Entourage is good. I'm thinking here. So we don't need to cast Vivian's Grizzly yet. We don't have our big accelerants. But we can cast this Visionary, which I kind of want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, leave. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast Visionary. Make a token. Draw a card. Pump these guys. Oh, this is great, actually. I'll do 1, 2. Cast Multani's Acolyte. Make another token. And TP, draw a card. Already played a land for turn. But now we have like an army of 2/2s. We can attack here. Draw, lose. Draw 1, lose 1. Okay, and now we do this, right? Don't pay the echo. Play the forest. We can cast Priest. Now is when Vivian's Grizzly becomes really good. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 elves. 11. We can just... I'll probably save... Actually, we can do one of these now. We'll just sacrifice like an elf token, draw 2. I don't remember if I played a land this turn, but let's just assume I did. Then we'll cast this Well-Wisher, make another token. And then when we untap, we just kind of like go off, right? We just cast all of our cards. So we go, watch this. So tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 green mana. Bounce this. We'll add, 14 green. Bounce, untap. 27 green mana. Right? Hireling Denizen. Boom. And now we just cast all of our cards. We'll cast Corrupted Conviction, targeting this, get this back, draw 2. Then we can recast this should we want to. So still got 27 green, black, and 4. So 23 green. This triggers put a counter somewhere. So now whenever we cast an elf, we get a trigger here. We get a trigger here. And like, let's say that we don't cast any of these elves, right? We just cast Vivian's Grizzly. So we get on to 20 mana, and then we have 5 looks at the top card. 1 goes to your hand, 2 goes to the bottom, 3 goes to your hand, 4 goes to your hand, 5 we just drew 4 cards. And we can still cast some stuff, right? Like we have some 1 manas. We got 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana. We can cast 3 more elves. 1, 2, 3. So you get an idea of why density is so important. And the low land count doesn't really hurt. This deck gets a little different than my other ones because like we have so many things that are higher on the mana curve. Whereas like other decks that I've built rely much more heavily on having like super turbo like turn 1 plays. So this is obviously keepable. We're playing on my turn 1. And turn 2 we're just gonna get this Devoted Druid online. And then we'll get the Will Wisher out soon. Turn 3, this is great actually. So we can do 1, put this out. And then 1, 2, put this out. Informant's not bad here. Look at that, I love that squeaking. Alright, so you go 1, 2, 3, cast Spring Bloom Druid. Sacrifice this. Get 2 forests. So battlefield tapped. We have 1 more mana, we can't really do anything with it unless we untap this, which we might as well do, right? Just put a -1 counter on it. And then we can cast this. Surveil 1, put that in the yard. Next turn. And now, like, we don't have a ton of stuff to do, but we have this, and we can just keep casting stuff. What we could even do is just cast this Big O. This Briarblade Adept, just a Big O creature. Attack with this, let's say that it dies, and we surveil another 1, put that in the yard. In response, you know, we can gain 6 life or whatever. We're just, this thing's just let's just assume that this thing's gaining us 1,000,000 life. Oh, Taunting Elf is great here. So what we can do is, let's cast a Taunting Elf. Let's just play out all of our things, because we're going to have a huge chorus of might coming up here. Right? And then, you know, like ETB, gain, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 life or whatever. And now we can cast this for an extra creature. Just like attack with this, and this, and this, and this, and yeah, just like those 4 things. So we have a trigger here, Scry, put that on the bottom. A lot of lands this game. Everything has to block this, so we have 2 choices. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 creatures on the battlefield, right? Yeah. So we can give something +9/+9 and trample. That thing can like wipe their board, or we can just deal 12. You know, let's do that, whatever. Let's wipe their board. This thing lives. Okay, now we're running out of gas a little bit, so we'll cast our commander. I don't have access to black mana right now, which is fine. Don't need this at the moment. What I might actually do is just sacrifice this and draw a card. That's pretty good. I've got 6 mana available. So let's just get this stuff out. 1, 2, 3. Cast Timberwatch. Get the Viscera Seer. we can do some stuff like, sacrifice this to rebuy Heart Warden, and then next turn we can recast our commander because we don't need it to attack, Seeker's Stagger, everybody's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana for this again, and now our things are bigger, and this is active. So we can attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exactly these 7 things. And anything that they decide to block, we give plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus 11, plus 11. And they may have an elf in play. So, like, you notice as we go through here that we can play our cards at a really high velocity, and we never really, run out of things to do. Elves are just so good. They're just so great. This hand is awesome. Like, look at this. All right, we're not gonna play the elf on turn 1. We'll do it on turn 2, but we get to do a couple things. Using all of our mana obviously is great. Tawny Elf, Elvish Guidance. Now we get to do 1, 2, 3 and cast Elvish Guidance on this and set up for next turn here. Another land is not the best thing, but now, okay, so of course I said we don't run out of things to do, and then we automatically start running out of things to do. 1, 2, 3, you get this has for 4 mana. So actually, hold on. So what we should have done is we go 1, we just tap this for 4, or for 3, right? This is in our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we cast this, and we cast this. That's what we should do. And then we draw for turn, next turn. Play our land. And now, should we want to, we can just, attack with these things, and do, the board wipe thing again, just, make our guy huge. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devotion to green. So we can make this a 5/6, just kill all the blockers. We can make it a 4/5 with trample, and give this to trample. Or we don't have to, and then post combat, if they block this, let's say this dies, we just crash it. We just do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. That dies. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cast Wild Escort and get this back, and then cast it again. Yeah, we have stuff to do. I lied. We're drawing a ton of land, but we have stuff to do. And now we can do the whole thing over again, right? So we just attack. You just are just blitzing somebody down. So let's 6 mana here. You just core somebody something. We can just double dip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elves. So, or 5 creatures. So yeah, we can do the Tawny Elf thing again. Give this thing +5/+5, and then give it plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So +11/+11. Just destroy someone's board again. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, so this thing has a good amount of play to it. I like that, especially if we're attacking a lot. Being able to use this to rebuy creatures, it's not really ever dead. It's either providing us a really good on-board buff, or we can cash it in for a little extra utility. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. I think that's a good place to stop, right? 28 land seems fine. You could probably even go lower, honestly, but now you know why elves are the best, because you can do all this weird broken stuff, and it's all fun. And this is only one of many elf commanders you can play. Go out there, find your favorite one, build a deck around it. There's so many of them, and a lot of them just do way different things. All they ask you to do is make sure that your creatures you have a super high creature count. That's all they want you to do. But what those creatures are, what elves you play, like my Heritage Druid deck has 24 1-drops. Maybe 23. It's either 23 or 24 1-drops, because that's what the deck wants. Doesn't matter what they are, just that they cost 1 mana. This deck does not obviously fit that mold, but just goes to show you that different decks want different things. And this one is really sweet, and I like it a lot. So we'll leave it there. As always, link to the deck will be in the description, along with a list of all the decks that we've built over the last 15 months or so. Below that, you will find links to Trevor Project and Trans Lifeline. As always, if you can donate to those organizations, please do so. Below that, you'll find yourself 3 links to organizations that you can donate more money to on the ground in Minneapolis and St. Paul, because there are still things going on there, even if it's out of the news cycle. Things are still pretty bad. So if you have spare dollars, Sometimes people do. In this economy, who knows? Figure I might as well at least give you the resources to do that stuff with them should you want to. Um, and with that, we'll just leave it. Thanks for joining me. I love sharing my love of elves. And go build an elf deck. I don't care. Play with this card. Play with another card. You saw how good Shaman of the Pack would have been, right? Just like make someone lose like equal number of elves you control. It's like, take 10, take 11, take 9, whatever. You can build a deck like that. I just like this one because it gives the buff. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. I could go on forever, but I gotta go. It's 8 o'clock. We gotta call it here.